Some of that caramel corn is like extra caramely. Break your teeth caramel.
I say we should pick a loyal fan that's been here for season 1 and 2 and now 3. Whoever pops up in the comments first that we recognize from season 1 and 2, send us some type of gift. Send us some love.
Oh, I bet you it's going to be that JB Race guy. Jeffrey.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, I'm not even in the
Dave
comments.
Brath is the account name.
Ooh. Hey, everybody. Guess what I forgot to do? Forgot to order the pizza. Got to order the pizza for Thursday Night Football. Starts.
Oh.
It's all
Tell
that
me about
matters
that.
tonight.
Who's playing?
Well, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's just football's back. Actually, I don't know. Who is playing tonight, Brian?
Because
Because it's not my team. My team doesn't play till Sunday at 4.
it's not the Eagles either. So.
Oh, it's Kansas City.
Oh yeah, the Super Bowl
And yeah,
and the Texans
and the Texans. Got it.
with limited in-person attendance.
Oh, are they letting people actually go see it?
Looks like it. Oh, Michael Hall in the building. He might
That's
be.
right, Michael Hall.
He
They're
might be all
back.
3 seasons.
There's some Florida football happening tonight too.
Oh, UM playing night. Okay. I have a lot of UM friends. Marlon in the comments talk about Lakers are playing. Nobody cares about that, Marlon.
Oh, do you guys call UM the University of Miami?
That is UM. Yes.
Oh, wait.
But not like University of Michigan,
When the folks get on.
which is a better football school.
Whoa. I'm a Penn State guy, but let's be real. I mean, as a neutral person, UM has some crazy numbers.
That's great. Why don't we compare and contrast on a
the number of NFL players that went to University of Miami is very high. Michigan
it can't be more than Michigan.
I have to do. I don't know. Michael Hall's not so sure either.
He's like, whoa, fam.
Whoa, fam.
There is no UM for University of. I had to stop typing. Wow. What are you talking about? No one thinks of University of Miami when they say UM.
Yes, they do. That's the
Really?
national. That's like a national thing.
People from Miami really think that Miami is the center of the universe. It's really weird.
I'm not even a UM. I didn't go to UM. I just think that's people in Philly call University of Miami UM.
And so people from the Midwest say what?
Okay, well, let's ask Lexi. I want to be fair. What do people in Baltimore think UM is?
University of Maryland. Totally different.
Oh my God. Oh.
Totally different. University of Maryland, College Park, more specifically.
Exactly. So Hall's saying he didn't even go to UM, and he still knows what it is.
He said we're the U.
Oh, and by the way, that's definitely UM, right? Like the U, that's 100%.
Yeah, and the M is Michigan, 100%.
Oh my God.
100%.
It's not 100%.
You could go to Europe and show somebody that M, and they would know where it was from.
Wow.
You show them the U in Europe, and they're going to go, who, what, when?
I don't think that's the case.
I'm just going to throw it out there.
It should be a poll.
Yeah.
There should be a poll.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Now I
I'm
got to
excited
figure it out.
for everybody's games tonight. But more importantly, I hope that everyone stays safe as they play their games.
Very true. Very true. Now I really want to know.
They would think it's a street. Oh, hilarious. Oh, we gotta start going to Google here. I'm about to pull this stuff up. Like,
I'm on Google right now. I'm trying to see.
So who has the most championships?
Claimed national titles 5
For who?
Miami Hurricanes. Now I gotta know.
I mean, this isn't. It's 11, but they started in 1901. It's complete. Florida was a swamp in 1901. It's
Not our problem up
No.
here in the Midwest.
No, you can't.
Not our problem.
It doesn't even make sense. I mean, a state has to. When was Florida incorporated? It might have been. It might have been.
So based on that, which one? So which one do you think has the highest rate of victory? Let's leave some math.
The University of Miami has a higher rate of victory, and I didn't go there. It's been rough for the last few years, but Florida became a state in 1845. So only 50 years before Michigan was winning championships. You can't even use that as a metric.
And what year?
Florida became a state in 1845.
Okay. In Michigan Wolverine football, first season was 1879. So what were you guys doing for 30 years?
It didn't exist. Florida. It was Spain. It was a different country. What are we talking? You can't say that they're behind.
You had 30 years to build.
It wasn't America. It wasn't America.
In the 1870s, it was.
Yeah, in 1845.
Right, and I'm saying that Michigan started their football team in 1879.
Yeah, and I'm saying that 20 years is not enough time. One, Miami didn't exist. I mean, Florida existed. Miami was not a thing. Florida's only 100 years
For
old.
the record, Michael Hall is not allowed in the comments again because he's like, they've won 2 championships since Black people were able to vote. Stop it.
We're not. MLK had a dream. I love it.
I love that Mella's in the comments.
Because the conversation is too good. It's too good. By the way, I've got
my God.
a Run INC shirt. I'm all about.
What are we doing a fashion show here on the show?
Well, they stream from my Facebook, so then people start asking me questions.
People are asking you where your shirt's from?
Yeah, because they think that I am streaming, but they think I'm streaming. So they think I'm like.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah. All right, let me button up this Kate Spade dress real quick so everybody can see it with my Bose headphones.
Wow. Okay, this is not a brand. I'm just saying this is the style. We're not doing.
If we're doing this, I'm representing one of our longtime sponsors. This shirt is from Amazon. Strong sponsorships here.
These flowers are from Amazon.
No free ads from Lexi Boy. No free ads. I'm not wearing your stuff unless you sponsor the show.
Period.
For the record, I wasn't showing a brand. It's not a brand of shirt. This is just what a shirt says.
Well, it's behind the scenes.
Michael Hall says it was so mom.
I'm sure it was. Thanks. They call me startup mom here in Cincinnati, so whatever.
Oh.
Not gonna hurt my feelings.
Wow. Angelus just sent me an email. I swear to God.
Okay, wait. We're live. What's going on?
They just sent me an email, and I swear to God, the title, the subject line says, "New job, who dis?"
Wow.
Angelus, slow down there.
Chill out.
This is not for you. This is not for you.
Oh.
Angelus isn't the Wendy's of email lists. Like, what's going on there?
You don't be spicy on the email, Angelus.
Yikes. There's someone on my floor who recently bought a doormat that says "Bye, Felicia." And I'm like, I haven't heard someone say that in at least 3 years.
Yep, it's already over.
God, I forgot about that.
So over. Gone.
You think they got it for free?
I wouldn't put it outside my door. No.
Oh, Marlon says we should start. He's like
Hey,
Mr.
all
C.
right, fam. Here we go.
All right, let's go. We're a company and a venture capital firm that invests in companies run by women and minorities, particularly when they're away from the coasts. I'm very, very focused on the Midwest. You are watching live the first pitch competition on Twitch, where you, the viewer, have an opportunity to vote for companies that you like best.
So every episode, we have 3 judges, plus you, the audience. You also get to judge each pitch. After each presentation, you'll see a cute little box pop up with a Twitter link for you to vote for if you would invest in the company yourselves.
During round 1, we watched as the startups presented their pitch deck in 5 minutes or less. Then the judges began their Q&A. After we selected viewer-submitted questions for the founders to answer, in the end, the audience and judges had the opportunity to vote in the poll below for the company they like best.
Candace, do you mind if we start?
Oh, sure. Sorry.
We gotta work on the fade. It needs a fade out.
Yeah, right when you said, Candace, are you ready? I literally was looking at my phone just like this. Like, I was like, oh, shoot.
Pretty much exactly the same. Like, so in the new format, this is this you right now?
It is. So good evening, everybody. Welcome back. We are here for season 3 of Twitch Pitch. I'm filling in for our lovely host, Alexia O'Share, as she is away in her first year of college. We're super excited for her. So for those of you who are new, let me fill you in on the rules. Twitch Pitch is the very first pitch competition on Twitch. Every season, we have 12 startups that compete head-to-head for some pretty cool prizes, and the victory being the winner of the season. This season in particular is focused on health, wellness, and longevity. And let me show you how it goes. Every episode, we have 2 companies that will go head-to-head. You'll hear them tell a little bit about themselves and why they started the company. Then you'll see their 5-minute pitch. We'll invite them on for some Q&A, and then we'll open it up for discussion and then voting. We all have a vote. Candace, as our chairwoman in chief, has 2 votes. I have a vote. Brian has a vote. And then the audience also has their own vote. Every season is a little bit different, but one thing that always stays the same is that we're always looking for which company would you invest in. So keep that in mind as we see these pitches throughout the season. Let me introduce the team. So I'm Lexi. I lead the investment team here. Brian is one of our general partners. He's an expert in all things AI, machine learning, and computer vision. Candace leads the troop on all things on our nonprofit side. She's the founder and CEO of the Hillman Accelerator, as well as some of our other really great nonprofit projects we have in the works. She's also a GP here at Lightship Capital and is the queen of all things e-commerce, CPG, and direct-to-consumer. So today, we have some really great sponsors for this season, as we do every season. This season, we are sponsored by the Hillman Accelerator, which was the first accelerator in the Midwest, focused on underrepresented founders, and still going strong today. We're also sponsored by the Ohio Third Frontier. The Third Frontier is a tech-based economic development group here in Ohio. It's part of the larger Ohio Development Services Agency, and they're committed to transforming the economy through innovation, startups, accelerators, and incubators in the ecosystem. In addition to that, this season is brought to you by AWS. AWS is Amazon Web Services, which is really the best and the largest cloud computing service provider in the US for our startups of all sizes, from small to large. And our newest sponsor this season is AARP, more specifically AARP's Innovation Labs. The Innovation Labs accelerate the innovation ecosystem by working with startups, accelerators, and the innovation community to empower people to choose how they live as they age. So we're super excited to get this season started, and we are going to bring on our very first company in a moment.
That was dope.
I think you're good at this.
I mean, she's got that kind of that theater delivery.
It's the theater thing. That's all it is.
Like the diction, the whole projecting. So what happens now? So we have a new format this season, so we're all learning. Like what
happens now is our first company will have someone from the team come on and tell us a little bit about who they are and why they started the company in under 1 minute.
Nice. Here we go. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I thought I was on the wrong show at first with all the sports trivia. I'm like, I remember the Fab Five. Does that count?
So tell us a little about it.
Sure, I'm Anya. I'm the CEO of Mella Pet Care. We founded Mella because it bridges our love for pets. I grew up on a farm in New England, and also our experience in healthcare hardware monitoring. We have an ecosystem of smart, integrated wellness monitoring tools that really shines a light on pet well-being, educating the parent with actionable data. Just as we have stable products for our children, we're adapting them for the purpose of our pets. So the future of pet care involves bringing machine learning to millions of pet health records gathered through tools we've built to really help us make better decisions and better improved health outcomes for our pets. And eventually for large animals, including livestock as well. And when we can do this, we will have improved the health of humans, animals, and our Earth.
Nice. 7 seconds to go. Love it. So now let's watch the pitch. Marlon always makes us sit here while this happens. Here we go.
This is Biggie. When I took him to the vet for the first time, he was taken out of the exam room to the back and held down for a rectal temperature. Biggie was whining, I was anxious, and the vet wasn't enjoying it or the wasted time. What if I asked you to bend over to take your temperature? You wouldn't be too happy about that. Yet this is still how pet temperatures are taken today, difficult and inefficient for everyone. A few months later, here I am, smiling, with the very vets and techs that held Biggie down, after introducing them to the Mella underarm thermometer. Hi, my name is Ben, and I'm COO at Mella Pet Care. Yale, our CTO, has over a decade's experience in healthcare hardware development. Anya leads strategy and fundraising. We've worked together for over 6 years, and our last company expanded to 3 continents and was acquired by a Fortune 50 multinational. Introducing the Mella Pro, a thermometer built for and by veterinarians. Measure temperature under the foreleg or hind leg of a dog or cat. This has never been done before. We value accuracy, comfort, and speed. We're removing the worst part of the vet visit. No more bending over. Underarm or axillary is our breakthrough, but vets have the option of taking temperature via ear and rectal sensors. Powered by wireless charging. Using Bluetooth and integration, vets send temperature from thermometer directly to the patient record and practice management system. The app also tracks historical measurements and can share data in real time via telehealth and other platforms. Our AI uses breed-specific data from clinical trials and hospital partnerships to predict temperature within half a degree, all for $120 plus integration subscription. Mella saves valuable time on each visit. 80% of pet parents are bothered by rectal temperature. In addition to clinical trials, we're running time motion and customer satisfaction studies. For parents, we're launching the Mella Home to safely monitor pets at home. Our mission is to prevent illness and increase parents' pet health knowledge. With the unforeseen rise of telemedicine, we've partnered with several large platforms because televets want to know temperature during consults. Did you know that 70% of concerns can be solved via telehealth? The device will be under $50 plus subscription. Here is our traction so far, measured in KPIs, and here are the highlights. 200 veterinary pre-orders at VMX, integrations with 90% plus of the practice management market, 3 veterinary supply distributors, 3 telemedicine partnerships representing 10 million customers, major retailers, including Amazon, Launchpad, and Petstock. We launch in Q4 and early next year with consumers. By addressing just 1% of vets and 0.01% of pet households in the US and Europe, we will achieve seven-figure revenue in our first product. We'll partner with daycare, responsible breeders, and animal shelters. We're not stopping there. We are building an ecosystem of products, including a body fat analyzing scale, a pet pulse oximeter, and EKG. Biggie is the namesake for our body fat analyzing scale to address the 60% of pets that are overweight and obese. Obesity research teams at several major pet food companies are interested in partnering with us to achieve long-term weight loss results. Ears and rears are out, armpits are in. If you believe as we believe that we should change the way we care for our pets and monitor health, join us. We see a future where preventative medicine is at our fingertips through easy-to-use tools, helping our pets to live longer and making us more knowledgeable and connected with our pets than ever before.
Wow. Ears and rears are out.
I mean, you want my full attention, you just
Armpits
lead
are
with
in.
that, and I was like riveted from that point on. All right,
Wow.
shall we hear from the team?
I think we have to.
We have to give a shout out to Ben's mother-in-law who came up with that slogan.
That is
Chicago
awesome.
humor.
Talented woman. She's a brand expert, clearly.
Yeah, obviously. I have a quick question. So poor Biggie had this situation happen. Tell me a little bit more about accuracy and how you can kind of like how you've gotten to this accuracy and no one else has been able to. I mean, I know that for my human children, we've used lots of different types of thermometers. Why don't those work on animals?
That's because animals are furry. So you can't just point at one of those infrared thermometers at their forehead and just get a temperature, because that fur it'll diffract the thermal energy. So we have to create we actually taken a multi-sensor approach that actually takes the room temperature as well as the underarm temperature, and from there, and applying the Newton's law of cooling, obviously, that's how we and plus the machine learning is how we get to an accurate temperature prediction.
And this is why you talk to people smarter than you, because of course it's Newton's law of cooling.
Yeah, I mean,
I hear you.
That was obvious to me. Okay.
Oh no, everybody learned that in high school physics. Come on.
I'm sure I did. But some of us applied ourselves in different ways. No, that's my first question, and I'll let someone else ask it. Well, actually, the other is about the 0.5 degree of accuracy. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, even the FDA, when they evaluate thermometers for human use, the requirement is it just has to be within plus or minus 0.5 degree. It doesn't have to be precise. In order to get to the exact temperature, you still have to measure the temperature rectally. But we're trying to avoid that, so we're going to have a thermometer that's fairly accurate. That'll at least tell you if your pet is experiencing a fever.
Cool.
On my side, I'm convinced by the pitch. I'm convinced by the market. I'm convinced by the need. It's super clear to me. So that really brings me to
the first episode, the first pitch. You cannot say I'm convinced. We have 11 more people to go.
I'm not convinced. Does that make you feel better? So if I was convinced, then it all comes down to execution and growth, right? It feels like it's a huge market. As soon as people hear about this product, they're going to want it. And then the hardware companies are like software, right? Where you just kind of turn a lever and add servers and then there's more capacity. How are you thinking about going to market? How do you put this in as many hands as possible, but also without bankrupting yourselves and not breaking the supply chain in the process?
Good question. So we have two different markets. The first market that we're selling to is the veterinarians. And so that's with our Mella Pro device. And with the Mella Pro, we've, as Ben had said in the pitch, we have over 300 pre-orders from veterinarians who really see this as a critical need. And it's not only because it's creating a fear-free environment for the pets and reduce stress for the owners as well, but because it's able to improve the time and the workflow within the practice itself. And so from the vets we've spoken to, they've said it's not only an incredible product that will save time, but it will allow us to reapportion the vet technicians into roles that are more meaningful. So instead of just taking vital signs and intake, they'll be able to put them on other projects within the clinic that can help in other ways. And so that's streamlining the workflow, which is why we have so much interest coming from vets. For the consumer market, which we're launching, so the vet product is launching the end of this year. For the consumer product, that's launching Q1 of 2020. And for that product, we have a lot of interest already from consumers who want it, because I don't know you, but I don't want to take the temperature of my dog up her butt. I would be afraid of either breaking her or breaking the thermometer inside of her. So we have a lot of pre-orders from consumers who see this as a real need, because a lot of pets have health issues, or right now during the pandemic, there's an issue where a lot of people can't take their animals to the veterinary clinics like they did before. So we're seeing a huge increase in telemedicine. So we have a lot of telemedicine companies that are interested in bundling our product, which can reach, millions of households versus just selling individually to consumers one-on-one. So to answer your question in terms of large scale distribution without having to really increase our staff, relying on channel partners as well as telehealth medicine platforms. Animal shelters are interested in our product. Responsible breeders want our product. So really looking at this multifaceted approach to getting the product in as many hands as possible. Yeah, I don't know if you wanted to add to that as well.
Sure. First, guys, about the barking, that was actually Mella and Possum, the two dogs that we have as a team, being really hungry. But so the device, the Pro version is coming out for 120, and so it has the wireless, the triple sensor design, and all of that. But the more important thing that we're focused on is just to build onto what Anya said. It's really about unequal access, right? Not everybody can afford $100 a pop to bring their pets to the veterinarian all the time. So a combination of telemedicine, which is a much more accessible way, for people who are at home, people who are lower income, and then of course a lower price point device that we're trying to make for the consumers will bring that access to the millions of pet households who don't take their pets to the vets on a regular basis. So it's not about just taking the existing market that we already know is there, but it's about expanding access into this market. And so the retail price for the consumer one is only $50 initially, and then our target price over the next 3 years is to drive that down to even more affordable, $19.95 being the golden number that we want to get to, by 2023, so that everyone and their mom can have a Mella thermometer for their pets.
I'll leave it to Lexi. I just one quick answer, because I don't take all the time. But how long does it take to get the reading? Because I know Lexi's dog is really well behaved, and I know our dog wasn't. So it would have been hard for us to get a reading, I think, and then Lexi, for her, it would probably be no problem. So I'm curious how long it takes.
So right now, the prototypes that we have on hand are taking between 15 to 20 seconds. The production versions, we want to keep it under 15 seconds.
Thank you.
Very cool. Tell me a little bit about education on the vet and the consumer side, not only about how to use it, but cleaning, just kind of long-term maintenance on the device.
Yeah, so in terms of education, we actually work with several influential veterinarians, including the Critter Guy. He's in Florida. He's got a show on Disney Plus, and so he's going to be having some hopefully some promotional videos that we can work with that'll be on his official TikTok. Not saying that Twitch is a bad channel to operate in either, where he'll spread the word about some of our products. And the other thing is that because of the positive explosion in virtual and telehealth for pets. Before the pandemic, there were only about 2 million customers in the U.S. Now there's about 11 million customers for telemedicine for pets right now. So 10 years of growth in 5 months is what happened to the industry. And so everybody's looking for hardware tools that can connect their pets to their providers. So there's a lot of partners that'll help with the education process because one of the first questions when they have a virtual consult is, can you take the pet's temperature? And right now the answer is, I could, but it's going to be messy. So we're going to be able to help them with that problem.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, as we wait for audience questions to pop up, I might have another one here. So I remember from your pitch, you mentioned that either as a team or you individually have sold companies in the past. Can you talk a little bit about if those things overlap in the pet space? Or is it just as you're a serial entrepreneur and kind of just building something new?
So Ben, you're mute on.
And you're muted on.
Okay, there you go.
There we go. So in our last business, it was focused on carpooling. So if you think of those old boards that companies used to have connecting people to try to share a ride, we took that into the 21st century with, again, a lot of machine learning, data scientist theories behind it, technology, and we're able to, through an application, enable people to share the ride to and from work. So luckily, we sold that product before the pandemic because no one is sharing cars right now. So it was sort of good timing. But it's a love of technology and that Yale comes from in terms of his background. So whether it's building software for people to share the commute together or a decade of experience in human healthcare, which is where Yale comes from, and then really my passion with animals and being able to better inform parents how to take care of their pets at home. And so that's when we decided we had technology from another business that was dormant. And we thought, how can we really augment this technology to serve a greater need? And so that's when we decided to pivot the healthcare to pets. And Ben, our third co-founder, he is, an activist for pets, has influencer groups who are distributing and educating our product all throughout the Midwest right now, and it was just a natural fit for all of us and where we wanted to go with the business.
And then since I don't see any audience questions yet, can I ask another one, Lexi? Am I allowed? Okay, cool. Is there any competition in this space?
Not really. That's what's really interesting is no one's been able to crack this code before. And it really has to do with the machine learning and the technology, which I think is probably the reason that no one has embarked upon this product before. You would think it's just simple. It's a hardware play. You build a device. You take a temperature of an animal, but a lot more goes into it behind the scenes. That as a non-tech person, I've come to really appreciate. But no, there are ways to monitor the temperatures through chip readings, but they're thousands and thousands of dollars and mostly for larger animals, but nothing for the consumer or that's accessible to the vets right now.
Okay. And so it sounds as if this is technology that you had from prior work. Is that technology patented, and are you kind of doing something new to the patent to make sure that you're covered, I guess, in this pet space? How is it changing and how is it different now?
So when we created a human thermometer 5 years ago, it was a forehead thermometer that you plug into the phone. And I just want to point to the similarities is that in the human side we did my previous company in healthcare, we made one of these pulse oximeters, which you just one end you put on your finger, but the other end you just plug into the headphone jack on your phone. There's no batteries. It's powered straight by the audio. Right. So we had that same technology to make a thermometer but it turns out you can't use it directly on pets. So we had to basically start from scratch. Because pets are furry, and we had to reinvent everything. So our old intellectual property actually doesn't apply to any of our new findings. The triple sensor idea is part of our patent filing, and then of course taking the breed characteristics to apply machine learning is the second part of it.
Wow. Awesome. Great answer.
All right.
All right, guys.
Well, it doesn't
thank
look like
you,
we have
guys.
any audience questions. Go ahead, Lexi.
So while we're
I took
waiting,
your.
it's a good time. No, it's great. But while we're waiting, it's a good time to let everyone know that the voting this season will be done a smidge differently than before. Due to voter feedback, we thought we'd make it a little bit easier on everyone, and now we have text voting. So just like American Idol style, if you want to vote for Mella, feel free to text 1 to the number down below. It's 203-408-6432. Once again, text 1 to 203-408-6432 if you would vote for and invest in Mella.
That's so legit. I like it.
Right? So no more looking around for an app or having to log into Twitter. You can do it all right here on your phone.
Well, guys, thank you for being on the show. We're now going to talk behind your back.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Wow. That was really something.
It's always going to be like this, isn't it? It's always going to be like this. Every season, it's going to be like this. Wow, Lexi, you're a good picker.
I mean, they're making great products. They're doing all the work.
Yeah. What was really incredible was like they've been able to keep their core team together from kind of company to company. So they're just growing as people and then just coming up with new ideas. It's really, really cool. And Yale is smart. Man, like he's just grabbing things off the desk and from underneath things and like, yeah, I built this and I built this, and then you plug this in and it takes your height and weight. Like it's crazy. So that was dope. I mean, I obviously understand the market. I don't have pets myself, but it makes complete sense that you wouldn't want to use the current method. I didn't want to use that with my children, so of course I wouldn't want to use it with an animal. And they've got great feedback from potential users. So yeah.
Yeah, also great design. It seems easy to use. It's very clear. It's like a single button. Like it seems like they got a lot of things right. Also, when he was talking about the machine learning aspect, I think why you're seeing these new products is ML and AI. It was early before 5 years ago. It was kind of early even 3 years ago. So some of these things just couldn't be done. And then there's also a period of what we call miniaturization, where you take an AI or an ML platform and make it small enough to fit on a device. So that could be some of the pieces that they're using as well, which also couldn't have been done for decently recently. So that's probably why they don't see many competitors, because there hasn't been time enough to create competitors.
Yeah, and the timing of this is incredible, especially with COVID-19 really creating this new and expansive market of telehealth for pets on both the consumer and the vet side. Now more than ever, everyone's looking for these at-home and potentially IoT connected devices that they can continue to communicate with their physicians with. Really excited about the product. Timing is impeccable, and excited for the other products they have in their suite that are lined up that they talked about briefly. Super exciting.
All right. Shall we go to the next?
I feel like Candace she's thinking about something.
Oh, there's something coming.
No, I'm thinking of companies in Ohio that own pet food brands. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, before we go to our next company, we're actually going to take a quick break and hear a little bit from AARP's team.
Commercials. Okay, people.
So lit. So lit.
AARP Innovation Labs, the place where leaders with bold ideas and visionary entrepreneurs meet to solve the most prevalent problems in society. We want to ignite a future where aging well is the norm. Our work with startups accelerates product and service solutions that generate significant impact in the community we serve.
Nice, quick. I gotta say, when people wear those like the goggles and they're like walking around, I don't outside in. It's just so strange, you know.
It definitely looks crazy. It looks crazy.
It does. It does.
But
It's fun though.
Innovation.
All right. So we have our next contestant of the night coming up. Let's hear from Javier as he talks about why allergy.
Good evening, everyone. Good to hear from you guys. My name is Javier Evelyn. I'm the founder and CEO of Alerje. I started this company specifically because I suffer from a ton of food allergies, pistachios, cashews, fish, you name it. And historically, I never really carried that life-saving medication, the EpiPen. So we're building a better EpiPen or auto-injector for epinephrine that has a smart IoT element that alerts the right folks during emergencies. Our device is built out at this point. We have contract manufacturers lined up. We gained interest from some of the top pharma companies, not just in our epinephrine auto-injector space, but also in the greater food allergy space when we consider other forms of treatment, proactive-wise, around oral immunotherapy, platforms around that. We're a small but mighty team based in Detroit, Michigan, born and raised in the Midwest. And on the other side of our platform, software powers all things that enable the IoT element, which is rooted in my background. Chicago raised me where I'm from, but Detroit made me and it made our company. And I'm looking forward to sharing more about what we're up to at Alerje.
Man, on the zeros. That's just, it's so
great.
It's just like, boom. Like he's hit allergy, like on the zeros. It's crazy.
What I'd like to know is how we got on a timer, but here we are.
I was up in the game with us, evidently, either.
Hey there, my name is Javier Evelyn, and I'm the founder and CEO of Alerje. We build products that improve the overall quality of life of those impacted by severe food allergies, including people just like myself. I'm one of the more than 220 million people on the planet that suffer from this life-threatening condition. However, I've been pretty fortunate. We all know about I would say, the prevalence of the condition, but what we often don't see are the tragic consequences, right? Folks have been dying due to being unprepared, not really knowing what ingredients are in their foods, not always keeping that life-saving medication, the EpiPen, or any type of product like it at all times. And we'll talk about that in a bit. But when we did the research and talked with the leading food allergy experts, organizations in the country, and just got in front of all the different parents, beyond the sharp increase in costs and different claims that are associated with a severe food allergy, we found that about 2/3 of patients and caregivers are just like me. Pretty hard-headed, according to my wife, but ultimately we don't carry that life-saving medication due to a number of different reasons. The clunkiness in some cases, the inconvenience to carry, and then that social stigma of walking around with something that makes you feel different beyond cost. So at Alerje, we found an organic way to solve this by effectively combining the most ubiquitous device that we all have, which is our cell phones, with the redesigned epinephrine auto-injector. To create a more cohesive experience, we built an app that's all about improving patient behavior to hopefully stop you from having to use this device in the first place. Simply take it out from the back of the phone case, take off a safety pin, inject your leg, not your arm, for a couple of seconds. And then from there, we're going to make sure that the right folks are notified so they know where you're at, what you're allergic to, and how they can save your life in real time. On the other side of the house, we built the app to improve patient behavior to ensure that you shouldn't have to use our device in the first place. So creating an allergy profile for myself, for Alexis, who I believe who has tons of food allergies, so we can really figure out what's causing issues, document that, so there's a more productive conversation between yourself, doctors, and allergists, and anyone else in your support community as well, too. We just recently submitted a provisional patent for the very first food allergy oral immunotherapy platform geared towards some of the most recent approved FDA products in this space, as well as a platform that's for the legacy treatments as well, too. We're super excited about this as well. And we're looking to impact this huge market. We didn't make this up. This is coming from the University of Michigan. We won a grant. They did a market sizing for us. But ultimately, we're looking to impact this, not just the epinephrine market, but specifically the food allergy market at whole. As we follow the dollars from a public perspective, this is one of the most emerging markets in the healthcare sector per what we've seen over the last couple of years. Beyond that, we've already kicked off the go-to-market strategy. The app, in addition to providing value, has served as a sales funnel. We just had a recent release on Juneteenth in concert with a huge webinar within our food allergy space, kicked up downloads and also kicked up our ratings from 3 point something to about 4.4, 4.5 at this point. So we have great relationships with the leading food allergy organizations, which is typically the channel to get in front of your patients, payers, and providers, which is pretty much the triangle offense of healthcare, right? In terms of the device, we're looking to take the accelerated approach. We've identified our regulatory agents and contract manufacturers, and we're on pace to submit our device by itself, independent of the medication, for 510(k) clearance. We're looking to partner with organizations in the epinephrine space, and we have a ton of traction, and that's going to help us fast track this product to market in the US and beyond. And the reason we feel pretty confident is when we look at the macro, the incumbents to build faster horses. At Allergy, we built a car. Proactive patient-driven design for that patient of today and tomorrow, right? So when you think about it, our product availability and value prop is really rooted in availability, avoidance, and just making sure that you have what you need from an educational standpoint at all times. Teamwork makes the dream work. My background comes in sales. I moved to Detroit a couple of years ago to get out of sales, to get into app development. And from there, we built a team. Some folks have transitioned beyond that, laying the foundation for what we've done. But currently, we have engineers and UX designers beyond that, an extension of some of our families listed below. And you'll see some of the advisors that actually have backgrounds with working with the top pharma companies in the country. We've done a lot in a little bit of time, and we intend to do a lot more over the next couple of months. So we aim to sell our devices in twos, the current standard of care, at a price point that's more affordable. These devices, epinephrine auto-injectors, have to be replaced every year because of the expiration date. We intend to monetize the data from our OIT, or oral immunotherapy application, this in beginning of next year. And we have some pending introductions to some of the top health insurance companies in the nation. This is an affirmation. This is a snapshot of the aforementioned David with Goliath scenario. We believe that partnerships will drive the device sales. Internally, we're looking to partner with pharma companies by way of partnering with their solutions as it relates to our oral immunotherapy platform and beyond. We're here because we're raising $1 million minimum. We have about 400,000 soft circled. You'll see some of the folks that have joined us along this journey. And we're raising these funds to essentially power through the regulatory submissions, iterate on some product development from the device all the way to the app, essentially going towards a commercialization around Series A by Q1 of next year. And you'll see some of the funds that we've raised thus far. This is why we're doing what we do. It's not only on a client, I'm the player president, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, but I'm really excited to share more of the enthusiasm for our market. And thanks for doing what you guys do.
You're muted, Brian.
I was saying, got all the hits. Like Lexi's name drop was like perfect. So I bring him on?
Yep.
All right.
Hey there.
How we there?
I just changed my uniform a second ago. Good to see you guys again.
Good to see you.
Quick wardrobe change. Absolutely. No, it's a sure. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, Candace, do you want to start? She's usually our first person.
No, I'm gonna let everybody else go first.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
Pick it up.
This market, sadly, seems like it's getting bigger and bigger, right? I'm a big believer that a lot of the foods we are causing allergies to kind of go crazy. So can you give me a sense of this? You gave the Tam Sam, but the size of the market in the regions that you're trying to sell to first, and how you expect that to impact your sales?
Yeah, so just that the partnerships has been the driver when we think about partnerships outside of the pharma companies, right? We found that engaging with the allergy stakeholders. So as an example, I sit on the board for one of the largest food allergy organizations in the country, having access to 11,000 plus allergists. That's a cheat code way to kind of hack the, I would say, procurement process and making sure that your doctors, your patients, everyone's aware of what the innovation is in the first place. So definitely when you talk about the overall market size, and you got to, look at the big picture. We're looking at focusing in the U.S. Midwest first at this point. We have a number of relationships. We just most recently got introduced to Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas City. Good old internet via the COVID world, took a trip via the same room. And we got an interest from those folks by way of just the different, I would say, lanes and different product lines that we have at this point. Specifically, from a go-to-market strategy, the app has really helped us out to get some notoriety in what we're up to. It's the exact same patient population that we want to serve. And when you think about whenever someone gets a food allergy prescription, or pardon me, a prescription for this type of device, one has to know about it on the other side, and the patient, that is, or the parent. And on the other side, the doctor has a good understanding of what is available. So by educating the consumers up front from multiple angles, so via the apps and social media to a certain extent, but really leveraging the relationships of that have been trusted by this exact same patient population over the last couple of years has served us well thus far. And we want to use that same playbook as we expand into the other areas of the business.
So we've been doing a lot of work in Detroit lately, and kind of did like a listening tour of different stakeholders, investors, entrepreneurs in the community. And I'd say your name came up probably at least in 3 or 4 separate conversations over a 2-day period. So yeah, it was good. It was good things. It was good things. So
it was all good things.
So tell me a little more about Detroit, why you chose it, and if you believe that it'll help you to grow the company.
Yeah, I'm sitting in an example of why it's going to work, right? So I moved to Detroit, 7 years, as of the 7th of this month. So crazy, right? Special number. The reason I moved is because I changed careers. I worked in sales, got into software development, and had a pretty good run there. I worked at a health insurance company in PBM for a couple of years. And I bring it up because, number one, it gave us, our family, the resources to get, basically, I think you just posted something, Brian. So I'm actually really inspired by something you posted out of Tulsa. So we also bought a home that allowed us to extend that runway. When we think about affordability in underrepresented areas, that's one small, fundamental area. If you cannot sustain, then you're not going to go, right? Since 2016, we raised under $1 million, and we're still here, and folks are still talking about us. And I think it's really not just because I think it's just a testimony of a lot of different things. Outside of that, when you think about the cross-border opportunities, we're right across from Canada, right? We have really good relationships through organizations like Scale Health. I sit on that steering committee to help foster more traction coming from LA, so we can kind of take the blueprint that's worked out in the LA hospital systems and kind of duplicate that here. We've had our own traction, and I think bringing those 2 areas together. Outside of that, it's just a dope city. When you think about it, it's everyone has a chip on their shoulder, and I feel the exact same way all the time. And also, just a quick shout out to St. Joe's. I went to the same high school as Isaiah Thomas, and I feel like that playbook going from Joe's, Chicago, all the way to Detroit it means something to a bit. But all jokes aside, I think it's a combination of the grit of the city, the opportunities, and people want to listen, right? I've never had a conversation or reached out. I think in the beginning of our behind the scenes conversations, I saw Anya because I've seen her at other events, and these are accessible individuals. Everyone's here to help. And I think that's the reason why, the village has helped raise allergy to the point it is now.
Thank you.
Candace, you ready?
My lighting is so messed up, so I was just trying to figure it out. But I can ask my question. So tell me a little bit. I'm trying. It's just so dark.
Great.
I can't stand up at this point. Okay. So my question is, what level of FDA clearance do you need? So we've invested in a few companies, and they've got to get through kind of a series of, I guess, a few levels of clearance just based on what they're building. And it takes a lot of money. So I'm just trying to figure out, thank you, Brecky. Obviously we don't. I'm just trying to figure out how much money is it going to take to get this all the way into market? It's not a kind of a gotcha question. I'm just trying to calculate in my mind what Absolutely. Your path is financially.
No, for sure, it's a relevant question. You're spot on. It's a moat. When you think about healthcare, everyone doesn't sign up for it. You have to have some type of interest. Something's happened to you, your family. I think that's allowed us to kind of weather the storm, as you know that there is a timeline. So to rectify that and address that, we took a couple different approaches. One, when we think about what I mentioned at the very end of the video, it is a drug delivery device at the end of the day. This is just a representation of it, right? And ultimately, this is our auto injector, right? There's drugs in here, or drug, epinephrine. So ultimately, it's going to be a drug delivery device, the drug classification, and that's about $2 to $3 million to get all the way to market. In our space, what we found is that, as an example, Enteris and Teva, two companies. Enteris is a company like us, small company years ago, partnered with a generic company like Teva, and there was commercialization agreements whereby Teva does the auto injector design very well, right? Partnered with a pharma company that not only has access to the medication itself, but they also have the approvals, they have the regulatory know-how, and now you're also leveraging those sales channels as well to get to market a little bit faster on the device side. But to your point, there's a long pathway in between that, even though there's tons of excitement. So the beginning of this year, COVID slapped us all in the face on this call, and everyone obviously that's on listening, watching this right now. But one thing that, after looking at the realities of the food allergy market, we found that the food allergy oral immunotherapy industry itself was buzzing. The most recent, as mentioned, FDA approved treatment in that space got approved in January. It just got acquired for $2.6 billion 3 weeks ago. We just had conversations with two of their scientific advisory board members, and the platform that we're developing and the way in which we aim to facilitate easier transaction, kind of very similar to the conversations that our friends over at Mella were talking about, leveraging telemedicine, AI, machine learning to make life easier for doctors, et cetera. That's something we can monetize this and next year. More than likely next year, we talk about real dollars. So long-windedly, Candace, it's a combination of, number one, focusing on that long pathway, knowing where we need to go, get into revenue, right? Because at the end of the day, you need to have something. And I think the oral immunotherapy platform works great for that. Lastly, we've just got NSF grant. Well, not got, we just, I guess I'm speaking into existence. So we just applied for an NSF grant just like a week ago or so. Looks very well at this point. We also have the very first patent in that space. And lastly, we just got introduced to an EU-based grant that could be anywhere between $1 to $2 million. So we want to make sure that we have multiple avenues towards making sure that there's no gaps in our game towards bringing this product to market, if that makes sense.
Okay, great. Yeah, you've actually answered my second question. Like, if you've gone the route of federal dollars, and that's just simply because the companies that we've invested in so far, like, that's part of it, and the ability to get non-dilutive grants into a venture-backed company is, it's attractive to us that are putting money into those companies. So, super helpful to know.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about manufacturing. Have you identified all your manufacturing partners to date for each piece and what that looks like, and where is it going to happen?
Yeah, so we're pretty much sitting on proposals right now. There's a firm based out of North Carolina. I won't drop names just in case somebody else wants that. I can send it to you guys specifically. But ultimately, they've worked in the epinephrine auto injector space. The tricky part, because it's not just a medical device, it's a drug delivery device, you have to get domain specific expertise, right? So we have to be very picky, and it takes a while. So we found that firm. They literally have mapped out from zero, from A to Z, what we need to do to get to market, right? From an epinephrine standpoint, we've identified a third-party manufacturer that has access to about 4 or 5 different, I would say, sources, ranging from India to France and the United States. So it just depends, on costs and relationships of that matter. Ideally, though, we would want to work with a firm, pharma partner that has currently approved epinephrine on the market that we can repurpose the actual, obviously, drug itself, fast track it, because when it comes to this device, there's predicates, right? So we can really leverage what's been done before with the medication that's already been tested and move fast at this point. And then to make sure that we're thinking about this even better collectively, or even in addition to the manufacturing piece, I brought up my board earlier. We really lean on them at times when it comes to just making sure it's not something you can Google. I've been to page 6, 7 of Google and there's nothing, right? So at the end of the day, we're very fortunate to have folks in our network from Pfizer, most recently Livongo as well too, recently acquired, just have somebody join our board. And that gives us the full, I would say, perspective that we need to build a strong digital health company with that hardware focus.
Great, thank you. So, audience, please feel free to ask all of your questions, any questions that you may have. And while you're thinking of some great questions, there's a quick reminder that the voting system again is via text. So if you would like to vote for Allergy, text 2 to 203-408-6432. Once again, text 2.
Dos.
And while we wait for audience questions, okay, so when you think of UM,
Oh no.
UM, for
I'm the
you,
worst at it.
is this University of Michigan or University of Miami? Just what pops to your head right away? Click.
None of them actually. Because
Whoa,
when I first moved here, I was saying UM, and people were looking at me like, "You're not from here, are you?" I was like, "Oops, yeah, I'm from Chicago, right?" Because U of M, I guess that's what they say out here. And I grew up watching football. This is the U. The M doesn't even exist when I think about Miami. So I see Deion Sanders and all these folks. This is Deion go there. I forget, but yeah, this is coming from a guy that loves the game of football. But I am Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, best
Ed Reed.
I haven't watched football. Yeah. It's been. But that being said, we have somebody from the University of Maryland in our team. Dustin would think differently, so I think Dustin would say it's definitely University of Maryland. So it's a
list would be Michigan, is what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes, and you've won this season. Thank you so much for coming. It's been amazing.
And actually, I'm just going to ask one more random off the wall just before we go. Is that couch from Floyd, Detroit, or somewhere else?
No. I ain't got for Detroit money. That's IKEA. That's IKEA. Yeah. It's IKEA, and then there's a little thing in the middle right there. Yeah. We had these for years. $60 a pop. Startup budget, guys. Come on, it's all about how you put it together. This is a representation. Oh, thank you. My wife actually decorated low key, but I just get credit by sitting in the room.
He told you.
There we go.
This number of years, so obviously this is the he's thinking about call.
Little by little.
I love it.
All
right.
So we're going to talk behind your back. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me, y'all. Take care.
Good seeing you.
Good night.
Wow. Lexi's just really just crushing it out here.
No, Detroit is crushing it.
That's true.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
You've had a very good experience in Detroit so far. Very good.
So, look, it's a great company. I think it's a good idea still. For me, everybody knows this. Like, if it's not all the way in market, I just say, I'll see you in a little bit. And I hate to say that. But because there's not something actively that is about to go out into the market and is not cleared yet, like the fact that we don't have clearance yet is kind of what kind of moves me out of saying that I would invest in this particular company. It doesn't mean that it's not a great idea. It's just too early for me.
Yeah, I think that's like the kind of magic line for demarcation. I'll say I like the design a lot. It's always about design with me. And the company can't get where it needs to go without a good design. And so it appears that he's, for me, kind of knocked out that part of it. So yeah, getting the approvals. And then he's going to have to, this is the challenge, right? You need the money to help you to get to market, even with the approvals. And it's hard to get the money, right? Without all these things, kind of very chicken and egg. This is the challenge that founders always have. But if he's able to do so, there's a real opportunity there, I think.
Yeah, I think what I'd like to figure out is how do we bring in someone like the commercializer, right? And have her help support companies in our network get through this process using government dollars. Like it's happening every day with large pharmaceutical companies leveraging universities. But what about private citizens that need to leverage their own public universities, right? like I'm hoping, and maybe we can ask him offline, like I'm hoping that Javier is able to leverage, University of Michigan, or leverage someone locally that's helping him write his NSF grants or SBIRs or whatever is out there and available, because he deserves the same opportunity as his majority peers to bring something like this to market.
I agree. Just real quick thing for Valerie, Jay, and Tanisha. Please text your vote over to the number at the bottom of the screen that's coming up. 1 for Mella, and then you'll see 2's coming. There you go. 2 for Alerje. Oh, Lexi?
Yeah, so I agree. I think what would be really helpful here, and it's something that we've seen in our portfolio, is if they can even get with some of the matching programs that exist. Maybe for every dollar of investment, they can receive that same dollar from some sort of nonprofit organization or grant. I think that would be a really interesting model to see them, raise $2 million in capital from VC and then have a matching $2 million from. I mean, I don't know if they're doing this right now, but even if My Lawn had a nonprofit team, or some sort of social initiative team where they give out grants to emerging technologies in the allergy space.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Because I like it and it makes a lot of sense. Like, Lexi, I guess this is a question for you. Like, do you carry an EpiPen?
No. And listen, the only reason why I should carry an EpiPen. I don't carry an EpiPen because they become incredibly expensive, and the fact that I have to throw it out every year just became prohibitive at a certain point. And knock on wood, I haven't had anaphylactic shock in quite some time. So I should know. Anyone who has an allergy as severe as mine should. I would 100% spend $200 and attach that to my phone versus spend the $600 that I have to spend now to carry the same device that's 2 times as large.
It feels like $200. Well, nothing disposable. You hate to throw anything away at $200, but it feels like for the safety, you're willing to pay $200 a year, right? But the higher number seems like prohibitive to me.
Yeah, I mean, your alternative is $600, and I mean there is. I believe CVS has a knockoff that is closer to $200, but I personally I'm too afraid to use it because the delivery mechanism is a little different.
Deep.
Cool. Oh, I'm nervous. I don't know what that means, but thanks for giving us a teaser.
So
there.
It's like a thermometer. Let's use Mella as an example. There's a way that you know how to use thermometers, and you're comfortable with that way. But then someone makes a different thermometer, and it's a little different. And so you may be nervous or hesitant to use it because in a life or death scenario, you don't want to mess up.
Oh, yeah.
This is where being the cohort, like being the person, really matters when you're thinking about investing in these things, right? Because I didn't even consider some of these options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am. This is hard because, I like the company. It's just not far enough along. I think it's a necessity. When my kids have play dates, sometimes their little friends come with an extra bag and it's got an EpiPen and some other stuff and a list of the things they can't eat. Eventually it would be nice as teens, they come with their own cell phone, with their own EpiPen, and I don't have to think about it. They can just take care of their own business. Stab yourself.
I mean, for the record, Candace, if they stab themselves, there would still have to be user intervention.
There's still
no one tells you any of that stuff. All I know is you get stabbed and then it's done. But I guess you still have to go to the emergency room, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. Anyway,
your heart starts pounding, you're sweating. You still have to get seen.
Candace is I can't be bothered.
Just think about it. You're shooting yourself up with adrenaline. That's what you're doing.
Got it.
And think about all the potential side effects of that.
It'd be terrible.
Well, you're a teenager in this scenario.
It's awful.
Can I be completely honest?
Always.
It's 8 o'clock and the NFL starts in like minutes. Okay.
Well,
So, well, let's do one quick thing though before we wrap it all up. One last reminder for those of us who may have just joined us: this season, voting is done via text. So if you want to vote for Mella, text 1 to the phone number 203-408-6432. If you would like to vote for Alerje, text 2 to 203-408-6432. Votes submitted in comment sections, unfortunately, don't count. They have to be submitted through our new text line. So if you've already put something in the comments, go back and text it really quickly to this number.
Cool. All right, shall I take us out situation, or do we just go?
Yeah.
Can I say one thing that we didn't mention? Can we talk about how we've invested in some of the companies from Twitch Pitch?
Are
You
we
want to do
good?
that now?
Can we talk about that real quick? I think it's fine. There have been tweets and stuff about it.
Go for it.
Okay.
It's your show.
Okay.
She's the one who wants to go early to watch football. So.
Yeah,
I know. I think I got till 8:30. I think, and I forgot to order the pizza, so we're done for. But the purpose of this show was to like just try to figure out how we can continue to have deal flow for our foundation and the accelerator program that we have, and also for Lightship Capital. And really, it's worked because we were able to lead around for season 1 winner Undock and Nash Ahmed, and then we were able to invest in season 2's winner Alerje Amulet. So we were able to invest in that company as well. And so we're here to not only give away a $10,000 prize at the end, but maybe potentially a larger investment. So at Lightship Capital, we start with our initial investments of $250,000 or more, so $250,000 to $500,000. So each one of those companies received investment, right in that general area, which is really exciting. So this is bigger than a $10,000 prize.
Yeah, you're gonna have to see Vanessa about that because she's announcing Alerje Amulet on Monday of next week. But
well, no, but I had it on my Instagram already. Like they've been adding me, and I put it on there.
I'm just kidding. It's good for the show. Just give you a hard time. That's all.
Okay,
So
okay.
Let's get a question real quick before we go on. Let's say he was on YouTube. Can you vote more than once? I think you can. Because you might want to invest in more than one company, correct?
Absolutely.
What about Voice of God? I don't know what you've decided. Marlon?
You got to come all the way on, Marlon, too. You got to come all the way on. Let's see you.
There might be a hitch in our giddy up. Can you vote more than one?
So you can vote for more than one company, but you cannot vote for the same company more than once.
Yeah. Boom. That's what it's saying. Okay.
And he's out.
I love his control over the show. He can just like make himself do that. Like, I'll just pop in, do a little something, boom. All right. Shall we head out then?
All right, fam. Thank you for coming back once again to episode 1 of season 3 of Twitch Pitch, Health and Wellness Edition, brought to you by our friends at AARP Innovation Labs, the Ohio Third Frontier, the Hillman Accelerator, and Amazon Web Services. We had a great show. Thank you for coming, and we are out. Stay tuned and see us next Tuesday, same time, same place, 7 Eastern.